If you're excited for the college football playoff and the two matchups, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, Alabama and Michigan, we're going to break down that video in a second. Of course, Texas and Washington as well, which we'll have a video for. Also, like the video, how can you not be fired up for the CFP games? I know Florida State fans are upset, and I understand. I'm with you, but these games should be a whole lot of fun. If you agree, hit that like button. The Rose Bowl is set as the number 4 seeded Alabama Crimson Tide will take on the number 1 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. You take a quick look at how these teams fared this year. Of course, Bama lost the one game to Texas. They're the SEC champions. Top 20 in both scoring offense and scoring defense. Michigan, a perfect 13-0 for the second straight year heading into the playoff. Third straight playoff appearance. Second straight 13-0 campaign. Top 15 in scoring offense, and the number 1 scoring defense in the country, and 1-point favorites. Vegas expecting a close one, over-under set at 46 points. For New Year's Day, all-time head-to-head, Bama leads 3-2. These two teams actually played, I believe, in 2019. I can't remember what bowl that was. It was in Orlando, and Alabama won that one 35-16. But for how historic both of these programs are, they have not met a lot. So, sixth meeting between Alabama and Michigan should be a classic, and I do think it will be. Now, you look at both these teams' kind of resumes to get here. Bama's notable wins, all these are ranked wins. They beat Ole Miss back in September, 24-10. They took care of Tennessee in October, 34-20. Handled likely Heisman winner and LSU, or Jaden Daniels and LSU, 42-28. Early November. And then, of course, the big one, upsetting number 1 Georgia to win the SEC championship. For Michigan, they just had 3 ranked opponents, dismantled Penn State 24-15, won the game for the third straight season over Ohio State 30-24, and then just buried Iowa in the Big Ten title game 26-0. Of course, Michigan, no losses. Bama, the one loss to Texas. Who you got in the Rose Bowl? Type MICH for the Michigan Wolverines, or type Bama for Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Let us know in the comment section. Let's start looking at some key players in this matchup. You take a look at the quarterback comparison here. Jalen Milroe and J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, McCarthy been the more accurate passer this year, but Milroe a little more dynamic as a runner, and I think Bama as a whole has leaned on him more, and he really has improved so much throughout the season. I mean, remember after that Texas loss, I mean, people like me were even saying, I don't know if Jalen Milroe's the answer. Nick Saban tried to give Buckner and Ty Simpson a shot against South Florida. That was an ugly performance by Bama, so they go back to Milroe, and really since then he's taken off and has played very, very well. I think he's done a great job of creating big explosive plays down the field and using his legs. He still has some limitations as a quarterback, but he's definitely much improved. Obviously, McCarthy, he's kind of Mr. Steady Eddie, right? 25-1 as Michigan's starting quarterback. Makes good decisions, runs when he has to. But obviously, Michigan's a team that wants to run the football first. So at times, McCarthy's just asked to be a game manager, whereas Milroe, they lean on him a little bit more. So if this does get into one of those games where both quarterbacks have to make a lot of plays, even though McCarthy's more experienced, you could make the argument that Milroe is more equipped to handle putting the team on his back. We'll see if this game gets like that. Who do you guys think is the better quarterback right now? Type JM for Jalen Milroe, JJ for JJ McCarthy. Obviously, McCarthy is more accomplished up to this point. Make a decent argument, though, that Milroe, especially as of late, has played at a higher level. Get your votes in, JM for Milroe or JJ for JJ McCarthy. Before we continue, PrizePicks sponsoring today's show. And listen, bowl season is upon us. NFL is rolling along. NBA, NHL, well in their seasons also. And PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. You can pick from anywhere from 2 to 6 players on any given entry at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS. On a recent game, I did not connect on this one. Jake Browning shocked me. He went off. Travis Etienne actually whiffed on that as well. But the beauty of PrizePicks, if you use the code CLNS, you can get a deposit match up to $100. Put your money where your mouth is. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Anywhere from 2 to 6 player entries, you can make up to 25 times your money on any given entry if it is a 6-player entry. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS, link and code in the description of this video, plus the comments. Okay, you look at Michigan's running back duo. I mentioned they want to run the rock first. And obviously that starts with Blake Corum. 24 touchdowns, really had a fantastic season for the Michigan Wolverines. And what was a bit of a surprising thing to me this year is how ineffective Donovan Edwards was. 3.5 yards per carry behind a pretty damn good offensive line. There's no doubt he's been disappointing. So Blake Corum is definitely the running back that Michigan is going to lean on more in this matchup. He's great in short yardage. He's the emotional leader of this football team. I mean, he easily could have gone pro last year and been a pretty high draft pick, but missing that Ohio State game, missing the college football playoff, but you could tell that meant something to him. He wanted to get back to this stage, and now he's healthy and ready to go, so he gets his opportunity, which is very, very exciting. For Alabama, they lean on Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams out of the backfield, both effective backs. McClellan, of course, a veteran. He's got 6 touchdowns. Roydell has 5. I mentioned Milroe earlier. He's got over 400 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns as well. And that's a part of the running game for both these teams also, especially Alabama's with Milroe. Both quarterbacks can move, not only to run the football, but to throw the football. And even though McCarthy's run it less this year, it seems like when they need a key first down, he's more willing to take off and get those yards. So I definitely think that's going to be a key in this one. And these defenses are at times going to have to put QB spies on McCarthy and Milroe. So it should be fun to see how those chess matches are played between both of these coaching staffs. Subscribe today if you want more college football news, rumors, recruiting information, transfer portal updates. We are going to have a preview of the other CFP game as well between Texas and Washington. So be looking out for that here on the channel. We also cover the NBA and the NFL also on a daily basis, so don't miss out. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We've got you covered here on Chat Sports. You look at the receiving game, the passing attack here, receivers for each team. For Michigan, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Roman Wilson, their leading receiver. He's got double-digit touchdowns. Him and McCarthy have been really good, especially in the red zone this year. Colson Loveland, along with A.J. Barner, a couple of tight ends that can make it happen. Cornelius Johnson, the number 2 receiver for Michigan. He can make some big plays as well. For Alabama, Jermaine Burton, I mentioned the explosives with Jalen Milroe and his deep ball accuracy. Burton's been on the receiving end of a lot of those. I mean, 777 yards and 35 catches. He's averaging over 22 yards a catch. He's got 8 touchdowns. Isaiah Bond has just been Mr. Clutch. I mean, the play he made against Auburn on the 4th and goal at the 31, the key 4th down against Georgia, although some would say that was not a catch. They did not review it, but he's been Mr. Clutch. A couple of other guys that chip in as well. You think about what these teams want to do. For Alabama, they're going to lean on explosives. They were among the country's leader in explosive plays this year, and defensively, they want to limit the run. Don't let Michigan control the game running the football. For Michigan, that's what they want to do. They want to control the clock, balance attack, run the football first, use J.J. McCarthy with the play action, and then what they want to do is limit explosives. And for Michigan, they got to be thinking back to last season and their loss in the playoff to TCU, because very similar situation where that team led the country in explosives. Michigan's defense was very near the top in all statistical categories, but they couldn't stop the big play. They got to do that against Alabama. You do not want to get in a track meet with this Bama team if you are Michigan. You'd much rather it be a physical matchup. And if they can keep it with a game control type of game, I think advantage Michigan in that situation. Bama, a lot of the focus on their defense is with that front. Turner and Braswell coming off the edge, 9 sacks, 8 sacks there. Justin Abogbe in the middle there, he's got 7 sacks as well. They can really get after it on that front. For Michigan, the focus is in the secondary. Mike Sanders still has 5 interceptions, leads the team. Also a big-time leader for this football team. Will Johnson has 3 picks, one of the best corners in the country. Keon Sabb, Rod Moore, a couple of safeties, or a couple of players that can make plays on the back end. Of course, Rod Moore's pick off of Kyle McCord helped seal the deal against Ohio State late in that one. And look, these are really different teams, and I think it's going to be awesome. You're talking about 2 of the, I think, top 4 or 5 programs with most wins in the history of the sport. I mean, at the Rose Bowl, nonetheless, I mean, this feels like a historic game, and it's in a historic place out in Pasadena. So I can't wait for it on New Year's Day. Should be a whole lot of fun. The sun's setting at the Rose Bowl in that one. It's going to be an awesome scene, man. And if you guys get a chance to go, I highly recommend it. Predict the score: Alabama versus Michigan. Who wins and what is the final score going to be? I feel like a lot of people just assume that since Bama got in, they're going to win this game. And I could certainly see that happening. They're trending up. Jalen Milrow's playing really good. And Nick Saban with a month to prepare. I get all that. But this feels like a legacy game for Jim Harbaugh. A lot of rumors about his future. Is he going to stay at Michigan? Is he going to go to the NFL? What's going to happen after this year? Give me Michigan 30-27. They haven't been able to break through in the playoff. They lost to Georgia a couple of years ago. Last year, they got upset by TCU. I think it's personal. Blake Corum is back. I think they find a way. I'm going to zag when everybody else is assuming Bama's going to win. Instant classic in the Rose Bowl. Michigan 30-27. They take down the Crimson Tide to advance to the national championship. All right, guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button for more content if you haven't already. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys soon here at College Football Now.